You didn't say it.
I didn't?
No.
Well, it's Friday.
It is.
Cold and rainy. Mm-hmm. The world is finally turning, you know. It is very strange. I think about this this last winter. I think, when did the roses start trying to bloom?
December?
Yeah, December. But this was the first summer I can remember in all the years we've lived here where we don't water. Because there's just no point. I mean, this is supposed to be a desert, really. We didn't water. The lawn never died. Mm-mm. Never once. It's in my lifetime, that's pretty unprecedented, but interesting. Mm-hmm. Beyond that, though, it's winter's coming in. What?
Nothing. It's the thing.
What thing?
Oh,
what, the zoomy?
Yes, the zoomy there.
Yeah, you see, if we sit on the edge of our seats.
Oh, okay.
I'm on the edge of my seat. There, we look almost like people.
Yeah.
Actually, I think that's what we should have done. Maybe what we need
I
then...
like being comfortable.
I understand that, but maybe we need, like, I don't know. Maybe, you remember those 80s chairs that were kind of this weird thing where it's like you sat on it and then your legs went up the other way? It was a weird...
I was not really super alive in the 80s, so I don't know.
Honey, don't worry about that. Anyway, it's Friday.
Yep.
It's Friday. Mm-hmm. Believe it or not, despite my apparent lack of production, we really are back in swing production-wise, doing our work. We've gone and reorganized stuff, and everything makes much more sense, and we have she's really helping us like dig together and get organized. So I have a cool video that should be up at some point around this for a nice 7549 restoration, which I'm pretty excited about.
Cool.
So do you want to do wrist check?
Yes.
Well, we can't decide who's going first, so I am going to go first. This is pretty much the newest arrival I have. And I have it in, this is a good watch. I got the watch I wanted in the, basically it has pretty much everything I need. 62 MAS, 1966, May 66. The original owner, whoever that person was, started getting some loom damage from moisture. And they went in, or they had somebody go in, and they painted over the top of every marker with a clear, matte enamel or something. And so I've left it, actually. The rest of the dial is awesome. The handset was destroyed beyond saving. The corrosion on the original handset was so bad, it rusted through on the side. So this is an original set of 62 MAS hands. And there it is. The pip was gone, so I used this. I replicated some old tritium style loom for fun.
Okay, and now it's my turn.
Yay.
I keep wearing this because I like it.
See, look at that. Isn't that it?
I'm trying to not get your lights in it.
Oh, do you want me to?
It's over here.
Oh, wait. Here, let me go like this. Am I making it worse?
No, but it won't go away.
Yeah, and I have the worst lighting in here. That's not bad.
Okay. There's my watch.
Isn't that nice? That's a birth year and month watch for me. Okay, cool. I was about to say we're very boring because the last time we were here, we were both wearing old Rolexes, I think. And now it's, we've got these two classic, then they're right next to each other. One goes next to the other.
Oh, that's funny. I don't know. I just grabbed it because it was working.
Yeah, because this was the first 150-meter diver, and that was the second.
Oh, well, I did not know that, and now I do.
Yeah, it's really crazy. It's one of the things that makes the 62 MAS, significant. Mm-hmm. Because the case design certainly was pretty common. I have 3 watches that I can lay hands on right now that use this exact case type.
What?
That's the name of that watch with the radium hands. Omen, Uhlmann.
I swear you all will understand.
Learn all about that. But I actually put them side by side, mm-hmm. and they're almost perfectly identical. And then there's my Arleigh 007 diver, and that's built around ETA 2483, I think. But again, it's almost a clone of this diver. It's just one of those things. Is that case style was used a lot. I don't know where it originated. I don't think it was a Seiko creation.
Oh wait, I can't sit backwards. When did it start coming out?
It was this all started happening in the 60s because of the whole skin diver
Right.
craze. Thinking about Sean Connery and Thunderball, and everyone's being a skin diver. And so that was the thing, and divers kind of got more and more, deep. I don't know why, but that was, in the 60s, we were heading towards, the late 60s and 70s, which was all sport. Let's race.
You're silly.
Am I?
It's later than usual now. Not like late. I don't know. So I'm coming on the end of it, and
Yeah.
I'm sleepy.
And I was doing the final stuff on this 7549 7010, and it was a fun bring back, but I really wanted to get that to kick off before we did this. So I'm doing this.
Okay.
No, so let's do it.
Okay. Orville Findlay. I have just got out my 81 Scuba Pro 450, and it has the same loom you mentioned.
Oh.
Tan on the dial and white hands. I got my Scuba Pro pretty cheap because I think people thought it was a fake because of the pale blue lettering had faded to almost white. But when viewed with a loupe, you can clearly see the remnants of the pale blue. It's definitely the real deal.
Yeah, that's great. Congratulations. That's that's not something you run across too often. In fact, I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that they got a Scuba Pro 450 for cheap.
Why? How much do they go for?
I don't know because I haven't looked in a really long time.
Okay, well, you
Okay.
keep talking and I will look.
Okay, so for those who are like Scuba Pro, the 6309 divers, okay, they're the round divers that were started in 76 for the 6306 is 77, and they ran up through the 70s into the early mid 80s. But it was a very standard diver for the time. There's a dive materials company called Scuba Pro, and they had Scuba Pro, and they basically they
Is
had
that the watch?
Yeah.
Look how much people are selling it for.
but these are all fake dials. That's the thing.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
see, the thing is now everybody's reproducing this, and look, even with the faded Scuba Pro. Oh, but that's really crappy. Ugh, the printing is terrible. God, it's just awful. That's just nasty. And there's so many fakes, and so that's the thing. You have to assume they're fake because the ones that have the Scuba Pro branding, when they were made, I don't think they made a ton of them. I don't think a lot of people had them, but they were famous for some reason, some kind of special dive training. I've seen, I think I've seen 3.
I've never
Genuine
seen one.
ones. Yeah, I've had a few come through here. Eric Strickland has one that's like exquisitely beautiful, but it's been quite a long time actually since I've seen one in the flesh. I would never try to buy one. That extra strip of script is just, it's not worth the bump, and there's no one who's ever gonna see it who'll even care. So, unless we go down to that next watch meeting,
Yes.
because we do have that next watch meeting coming up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, it was in the emails that we've been getting from the Horology group.
Oh.
You remember? Mm-hmm. Oh shoot! In fact, I have to call that person. It's too late. It's too late now. I'm not going to do that.
Wow, we're really low energy.
Are we? No, it's just what are you going to do? What in the heck was I talking about?
Scuba Pro.
Oh yeah, I've seen that strip of script is just not worth it for me, but it's for people who want that extra thrill. There's nothing. That combination that he's talking about, the genuine Scuba Pro, but it shows a little bit of fade, which I like. Like my number one favorite 6306 7001 I ever owned was the one I called Silver Surfer because
I remember
yeah,
that.
because the orange dial text had faded down to an almost slightly ivory silver, and it looked from a distance basically like it was all one color, but it was original stock. It looked really good. But anyway, yours has a bit of fade, but it's got the 6159. It's got the grandfather Tuna loom, which is, that's just that's a nice confluence.
Okay.
Oh, in any case, so this item, this guy's watch and its situation, that's pretty weird and rare, and I haven't the foggiest idea what to even think about it. It's not bad looking. The loom is bad, but the metal looks like it could be okay. Insert is pretty worn, but it's original. It's original. I don't know, I don't know what to think about even talking to the guy about it. So if anybody has any input, please put it down below. This may seem primitive on the surface, but it's primitive underneath too. So what were we talking about?
The clock maker.
Yes. Why don't you just read the question over again?
Okay. From Mojel. The book Longitude by Davis Sobel is about how accurate clocks solve problems in navigating the seas. John Harrison was a self-taught genius clockmaker who made the most accurate clocks of his time.
What it reminded me, well, actually, totally coincidentally, this morning, I'm trying to think. I'm in the process. I made my own medieval sword. Now I'm in the process of making the side dagger thing that would have gone with it. So I wanted to look up designs of medieval dagger design. And so, of course, as one does, you go over to the bookshelf and you pull out your book of English brass rubbings. So you can look at grave art depicting, the thing you're interested in. But anyway, so I opened up my copy, 1981, 5th edition, by the way. And out fell this pamphlet that we got when we were still in England. That we got at Salisbury Cathedral on the gigantic Salisbury Cathedral clock. It was built in like 1368, and it was used and rang the hours continuously for 690 years. And then it was, I guess, relegated to some attic because it was replaced by a newer sort of clock in the 1800s. And it was in the attic, and then they knew it was up there, but nobody cared at all about it because they thought it was like only the third oldest in the world. Turns out it's the oldest extant clock of its time ever, and so they restored it to full working condition. And when I was there, I saw the thing. It's like this. It's like this box made of hand wrought iron with these huge manhole cover sized gears, and it was pulled with, it was like a giant weight clock, and so they had ropes running all the way up, and it's, if you've ever been in Salisbury Cathedral, it's big. It's
Take your word for it.
No, it's humblingly big. There's every time I would go back there and go in there, I would think that I remember how big it is inside until I walked in, and then I'd be like, I had forgotten.
Okay.
Anyway.
Hang on. CMB. Lovely collection. Picked up 275 Quartz variants recently. A 7518 watch for the blind and a 7550 pocket watch. This completes the range as far as I know, as I also have a 7545, 7546, 7548, 7549, and a 7559 with light.
Well, I know you're going to come here into my house and throw down like that. Oh, it's on. No, actually, I'm just curious. I was listening to the litany and I'm like, I think I have every single one of those. But they're going to be, funky shape, but I bet you I can do it. So
wow.
we're going to break and we'll do that Never mind. See you in a bit. Okay. I'm pretty sure I can pull this off. Okay. There's 7546. Let's see what else we got. I forgot I even own this watch. I literally forgot I own this watch. That's right. I never got the bracelet to work right. I got this from Ryan Walters. That's right. I kept jacking with the bracelet and I could never get it to work. Because the original bracelet, somebody had this watch and they just mashed up the top links. And so I found a almost identical bracelet, but it didn't quite fit unless I do surgery inside the bracelet because the way the lug pin is, and I couldn't do that, and I got really frustrated about that. And then I was going to try to swap links one from the other, but I couldn't do that because it was looking bad. And then I got really confused and I just put it away. Wow, that's 7546. This is cool. This is one of Seiko really believed in the 754 concept, which is this highly accurate, high torque movement. And they went all out. The quality, their quality, when on these watches, they were just not fooling around. I mean, this is really, really nice. I've totally done this one. I've totally serviced this and cleaned this up. I just can't get the bracelet to work. The bracelet's all wrong. This is one of the new bracelets. Stick it like that, and like this, but I would have to drill out the inside of the darn it lugs. It's a nice looking watch though. Don't you think? Look at that. That's a cool watch. It's almost a cuff watch too. Anyway, 7548. Let's put that up there. So we got 7546. No, 7546. 7546. There you go. Ooh, there you go. 7559, right? Yes, sir. 7559 5010. This is a runner. And the deal with these is that they were the first, they were an analog watch, and they, but you push the crown and it would light up. You think it would do the whole thing about here, but it's just like a little bit of light over here. It's actually a little silly. I have a few of those. Here's another one, another model. Trying to look more 80s and space agey. That's pretty neat. It's nice being able to do segments like this because I get to look at I get to look at everything I've got and reconculate in my brain. Another one of the sport divers, 7546 sport divers. This one I have not serviced its original. The bracelets for these are fantastic. What do we got here? Oh, it's another 7546 dress watch. Look at that. Blue magenta dial. That's original. Wow. I don't think anybody wore that much, Not a whole lot. Come on, don't make me a liar. I know I have a 7545. I know I do. Doesn't have hands, but it's still a 7545. I can put hands on it. I have the hands. Here's another 7546. That's a cool one too with that maroon. That weird kind of maroon dial. Look at that, the same shade, isn't it? That's a cool watch, TD dial watch. On its original bracelet too. Pretty, I don't know, the lume is perfect. Look at that. Lume is perfect. Bet you $100,000 million this one's a perfect runner. Just needs service of crystal and seals. Oh yeah, this one. I could never find the crystal retaining ring for this one. 7546. There's that blue again. Yeah, I gotta find the bezel for that. So, yes, I appear to have the entire run. Oh, here's another one of those sport divers. I never got around to, I've never restored this one. It's a runner. It's all worn on the outside, but look at the lume on the inside. These inserts are always get worn. Oh yeah, this is another one of these. Another 7546. Cool. I've got more, but oh yeah, here you go. Two birds with one stone. That's a 7546, And it's a sample case. Seiko, it has its... Oh, it's not even stamped sample. It has a sticker on it, but not stamped sample. Look at that. How funny. Isn't that interesting? But that's exactly what it is. All right. Okay.
Next one?
Yep, we are here.
Okay. Robert Lambert. I was hoping for a history reminder on the Raleigh Square case second from the right. I can't recall if there was a Jonathan connection or if it was an early parts build.
It was
The first mod.
It was the first mod of mine that worked. It was because I didn't have a sense of what would or wouldn't happen together. And is it my cat?
No.
What's going on? Is it Diggy?
He wants dinner, but it's too early. And
Well,
now
why don't you
he's
just
in the
let him in?
rain.
How about this? I'll do another break, and I'll actually show it, and I can talk about it. It'd be fun. Because I've been thinking about that watch. I don't know, maybe it would help to talk that one out. Okay. So this is my mod that I used to, I still do. I called it, this is my Seiko Rally 5er. It was a Rally diver, and it was a Seiko 5, and I thought it was clever, so that's what I went with. The outer part of this watch is a 5126 Sport Diver. The inside part of this watch is a 6119 sort of dress Sport Diver, and the insides of the 5126 had been completely flooded and destroyed, and the outside of the 6119 with the Empire dial design, that was perfect, but the case was destroyed. This was a really, really super long time ago, so I did not know that you can't put a 6000 series SUA movement into a 5000 series Danny case. But nobody told me I couldn't do that, so I just did it. And it was the first mod I felt that was, pretty decent, and I've always resisted turning both watches back to stock. I mean, I've had this watch for a really long time. Really, really long time. I have all the parts for the 5126. The dial is just roasted. Even now, it's far beyond my ability to do anything with. I could replace the movement in a second. Hands are really jacked up. I have the original case back and everything, and I could put it back. The cases for these are kind of weird. They're sort of a cuff bracelet watch. And the dials are really cool, but it's like you've got a wide flat case with a really wide taper bracelet coming off it. It's kind of funky and not to my taste, so I think I'll keep that. And we're back. I hope that was enlightening. I look forward to finding out.
Okay. From Nathan W. What brand is the watch with a radium loom?
Okay, that watch is sort of curious. I don't know much about the company. The company is Omen, Uhlmann, and it's Swiss. The movement is a lander on 248. The case is solid stainless steel. I don't remember who the case maker might be. I'll have to pull it out. And check it out. But if I can remember to do that, I will. What?
Nothing.
So I mean,
I remember.
Well, I want to pull out that watch, so I'll do my best. I guess. Can you scribble to insert a segment here about the Omen?
Okay. What do you want? What the frig?
Did you get it?
Now.
Go away.
Insert what?
Omen. Insert chrono segment.
Chrono segment.
Okay.
Okay.
You got that?
Yes.
Hi, Deggy. Okay. There it is. It's all dusty. Okay, yep, there it is. The Omen Genève. 17 rubies Inca block. It's a manual wind, Landeron 248. It's a beautiful, accurate movement. I mean, really nice. I wanted a Swiss hand wind chronograph like this, but I wanted it specifically in a more waterproof case. just like this one. Screw down back. This is actually a Seiko bracelet. I'm being bad. This is a Gene Kranz bracelet. Yeah, and there's that radium. You know, I know it's original. I hate the way it looks. I really don't like it. And I mean, you've got little loom pips around the edge of the tacky ring there, and you can't even see them. I don't know, bums me out. I look at this sometimes and I'm like, I don't know. I'll keep thinking about it. But here's another thing. Talking about this 60s case style. So there's the Omen. There's a 62 MAS. There is my Arley, missing a spring bar for some reason. Oh yeah, that's right, actually. I found it, and I think it's in my pocket. Well, I'm not going for it. Anyway, it's crazy, isn't it? This case style was just super, super prevalent back then. I don't know who came up with it. This is the wrong crown. I was feeling fancy. When I found this one on eBay, it was a wreck. And the crown and crown tube were gone. I put a twin lock on it, but I think I'm actually going to go back and put a standard straight crown tube with a standard internal gasket crown like this one. So, a little more squat on the part of the 62 MAS there. A little more elegance on the lugs there. A little bit flatter back on the hand winder because you don't have to make room for the weight. But geez, look at that, huh? They look nearly the same. It's cool. It's a cool case style, and I don't really think anything much is made like it today. Anyway, that's what that is, an Omen. And we're back. It's like we never left.
From John Cunningham. Spencer, I have a chance to purchase a Seiko Premier SRX015P15D88 Kinetic Direct Drive Moon Phase Steel Watch, new old stock, complete with original box and papers never used. I would like your thoughts on these discontinued watches in general.
I'm in favor of NOS discontinued watches if it's the watch that you want and it's a watch that'll really make things go for you. It depends on the price. I have a real problem with paying list for watches. I can't. If I pay, of some. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble concentrating. Basic.
Do you want me to?
No. Watches like that, if I paid full boat for a watch like that, I'd have to really, really, really want it, or I would have to have confidence that it would appreciate in value. But I don't know, maybe that's different for you. Do you love the watch? You love it enough? Who cares what it costs? Mm-hmm. Who cares? I mean, the money's going to go anyway.
Wow, you're a good influence to people.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but money comes, money goes. Money can be replaced. People cannot be replaced.
But we're talking about a watch.
Watches are people, honey. Okay. Well, in any case, I don't know anything about the specific model you're talking about. Spring drive, I, of course, understand, and I know how that works. For those of you who are curious, spring drive is basically a hybrid horological technology where instead of a balance going tick, 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 tick back and forth, you have an automatic winding mechanism that puts power into a mainspring, and the mainspring runs a train to what is not a balance, but instead is basically a governor, which is a constant single direction spinning wheel, which is electronically braked. So your movements mechanically charge the capacitor that's inside, and then that what that goes into the mainspring, and as the mainspring unwinds, some of that power is pulled off for the CMOS, for the brain that does the regulation on the governor, the wheel, and then it runs up through the main plate into the dial. It's cool technology, and it's kind of eerie to see for the first time. Some people say Well, it's not really a mechanical watch, it's a quartz watch. And there's an argument to be made for that. It has a lot more similarities to a quartz watch than a mechanical in basically every single way, with the exception of
Doggy!
most quartz watches not being kinetics. But I guess if you go to it being kinetic, it's really much more similar to that, except for the addition of the mechanical governor. I don't know.
What is he doing?
Rocket, what are you over there? He's snorting. What? Here, you.
Oh, wait, there he is.
Oh, I see you.
Sorry, he might have been naughty.
Oh, I want to show off. That right there, that's a picture of my dad's 73 MGB GT. We finally took time to go through all the photographs and all the childhood stuff that I've been boxed up for a long time. There that was. It's just really, it was super nice to have. It's the only piece of that car left that we have.
Okay. From Kai Wolf. Now, I've been doing German Duolingo, but I didn't get the first word yet, so I'm probably not going to pronounce it right.
You have to put a little bit of an U into it.
You? But there...
Für.
No, alles.
Oh, alles?
Alles für die Katz.
You did it! Just like that. Yep.
All of these 100 and... I think I'm on 129 days that you've been listening to.
Well, I know I have been listening, and the funny thing is obviously I'm not picking it up like you because I'm not actively participating, but I am following along, and I find that as the sentences become longer and more complex, that I'm able to follow along. I took German, and at a certain point in my life could mostly claim to sort of speak it enough to, not die in a foreign city, but so I'm kind of starting from scratch myself.
Well, I know how to say things like, meine Mutter ist groß. Well, yes.
Yeah, they have one character on there, and he's got this, like, sort of one, and I'm trying to figure out if he's, like, from, Bavaria. Because he's got that sort of German Texas thing going on.
Oh, wait, if I just said that, if they didn't watch it last week, they have no freaking idea why I just said that.
You got to be quick on your feet around here, and you got to have a good memory, because we're going to pick up where we left off about something at some point.
Really obscure that was said for, like, a second. He's asked, how do you say it's all for the cat?
That's right.
German.
Yeah,
it's all for the cat. Look at the...
Right. It's a German, as I understand it, it's a colloquialism in Germany that if, a lot of effort, a great amount of effort or whatever resources went into something and then was completely wasted for whatever reason, you say, well, it was all for the cat.
Do you think they can hear him sniffing?
I don't know. Can they hear you sniffing? Are you being a snifferton?
Mike D. Hello, sir. Would you happen to have a moment so I could tell you about the Sights friction jeweling system?
I've been limping along on the same Zeitz.
Oh, it's Zeitz, but it's not a Z.
Zeitz? No, I don't know.
I thought Zeitz was like binoculars.
That's Zeiss. They sound very similar. Very similar. I've been limping along on what was somebody's third-hand friction jeweling set. And, I adapt to my circumstances, so it's got me by. It fell off my shelf, and one of our children stepped on it.
Was it Sadie?
I don't know, but the box shattered. And also, a number of my reamers are broken. But they were broken before. They're still broken.
Yeah, the thing is, he comes from a family where you don't buy new tools and you just kind of try to make do with what you didn't buy second or third hand.
Right, and you just keep trying. It literally never occurred to me to buy brand new tools for anything until she was like, well, why don't you buy a set of wrenches? And I was like, what do you mean? I understood the meaning of the phrase, but it wasn't incomprehensible, but it was like, it was utterly unapplicable to me. That's nothing I would have ever considered. Same thing, she's like, we buy a house. I was like, oh, we got to buy a ladder. I was like, why do I have to buy a ladder? Or we first bought the house too. She's like, "Oh, we got a house. You got to have a chainsaw." And I was like, "What the fuck?"
And then, like,
we went and bought it. We went and bought the chainsaw.
And then, like, the next weekend, there was a super early snowstorm, and branches were down everywhere, and chainsaws were completely sold out in town, and we got ours.
We hadn't even been in the house a week. And this, Rocky, you're going to get your ass handed to you if you don't leave her alone.
We were in the house more than a week. We moved in here in August.
Well, I don't know. We hadn't been in the house very long. Backyard had, at that point, three... she escaped through the cat door. We had 3 gigantic old cottonwoods in the back. And the thing with old cottonwoods is they don't really like to hang together. They're big and they're heavy. And
they don't live long.
And they don't live long and they're punky. And so we were lying in bed. And there were branches very close to us. And boy, it was one of those, it was a super early storm. So all the trees were still in leaf. They have big leaves. They're a member of the poplar family. And it was really like heavy and wet, and you could hear the tree popping. But, all of a sudden there was that sound, crunk, 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 crunk. And,
Bam!
And the ceiling started, and I was like, we just bought this place, and now I'm going to die in it.
And it landed on the roof right above our bed.
Oh, tell them about the time when I was like, the next week, so we've got a chainsaw. Aren't we lucky? We bought a chainsaw because she was like, you ought to buy a chainsaw. And I'm like, who owns a chainsaw? Anyway, but I owned a chainsaw now, which was great. I was going to use my tool. So I wanted to take down one of the branches that this thing had, and it was huge, and it was sideways.
Wait, was it the one to the road?
No.
The one with the road happened first. When you almost dropped the branch on the van, and you dropped it on me.
Another problem being a client is we're raised to never pay anybody else to do anything.
So that was first. He almost hit a minivan and killed his wife.
And then...
and then the next time...
There's this huge branch, and I'm not taking it off by sections because that never occurred to me, and I'd never done this before. But as everything else in life, it's, life is learning on the job, learn as you go. So I'm trying to take this freaking thing, it's as big around as my torso, this thing, it is huge, and I'm taking it off in one go right next to the
it wouldn't, you got the chainsaw stuck or something?
No, because the thing crinked down because I was trying to go, I don't know what the hell
and Sadie and I were on
it was trapped. My new chainsaw.
And Sadie and I were on the deck and we were watching him because, what else was there to do? And then all of a sudden...
Then I was like, okay, it's stuck. Okay, I got to get my breaker bar. And I got down off my ladder, which I didn't know I needed to own. And so I got down off my ladder, and I said, I'm going to go get a breaker bar.
And he went
and I grumphed into here.
And then all of a sudden...
Then I go back out, and I'm just hearing...
And we just watched it, boom, on the ground. And we were like, oh my God, thank God Daddy went in the house.
Because he'd finally just released, and I would have been up there. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. But anyway, so that's the story of why we own a chainsaw. Okay, what else we got going on?
Doggy, I know. It's 7 o'clock.
My dinner.
And where am I? Okay, these were on Instagram, so after you answer them, you should go on there and say, I answered your question on my video.
Oh, you're right, I should.
Okay.
Dancing Queen.
From Dave Dorson. Hey, I'm not sure if you can help, but I'm after some advice from across the pond in the UK. I recently picked up a really honest H556 5000, which was typically sold as needing a battery. When I fitted one, I could get the digital elements to work, but not the analog part of the watch, so I can only assume the train is gummed up. I've also noticed that the alarm chime spring is absent. I assume that someone tried to change the battery and the spring was lost during that. I wonder if it's safe to use a watchmaker's line release tool on these watches in an attempt to free up the train, and also wondering if you know if the spring is a part that can still be purchased. I'm keen to get this one running again, as I think it'd make a nice addition to my collection.
I was actually going to break here to talk about this, but then I realized there's nothing I could show that would be better than what I would just be able to say. those springs, as everything with Seiko, they thought nothing of making a tiny little change in what should have been a common part, which renders the part in question like usable on like two models. The nice thing is that spring is exactly the same from the Seiko H557. But because most of the H557 doesn't exchange directly with a 556 or 558 Arnie, most people don't mess with them. Like they won't fit. They're rectangular, they're not circular. But those springs are exactly the same. And so that's probably your best option. I don't know that that spring is available. Now, the reason I say that is that Seiko's really weird about their parts, and they will make a tiny change. Even with all of my resources and everything I've got, I had to replace a spring in a 558, like last month, and I pulled all of my loose alarm springs. All Seiko. Not a single one would fit. There were any number that were nearly the same, but it has to be a specific height with a specific orientation, with a specific angle, with a specific crook down. See if you can find an H557 and just steal its spring. Also, the circuits are the same. I believe the circuits are the same, and the trains are common too. So that would also help you on trying to goose that movement going. You have to get the guck out of there. I mean, you simply have to. You have to service it. If you want to kind of, if you want to cut a corner, if you want to make it easier on yourself, one can do this. This isn't something that I do, but this is whatever. What you do is you just break down the H558 down to just the main train, and then one dip, literally one dip, and it's just a mechanical train. Though I don't know that one dip would actually, I've never tried it. I don't know, one dip can melt some Seiko plastics. I wouldn't try it, because that thing has, there's plastic built right into it.
Sadie's gonna feed the dog.
Yeah, it's just, I wouldn't try it, because believe me, I was playing with some one dip at one point. I was cleaning something else off, and because it's really good for removing, one dip is really good for removing like haze from metal. It's really good for getting like into complex parts where you have like rust or grease or guck and you just cannot get it out. One dip is great for that because it just goes and cleans everything. It's pretty much my go-to sort of a pre-work before the parts go into the parts washer. Is I go through and I one dip everything to try to get all the extra crap off because it saves my fluids. My cleaning fluids.
I wasn't listening because I was texting Sadie about the dog, and so I have no idea what you were talking about.
Me neither.
And then all I hear is my fluids.
Yep. That's why I'm here.
Okay, Adam Fairfax. Would you say the 7549 7010 is your favorite tuna?
Yeah, I would. I'm gonna split here, or I'm gonna cut the video and I'll do a show and tell. Okay. So this is the 7549 7010. This was Seiko's first. Well, people call them Tuna now, of course. But when they came out, the first ones that came out was the so-called grandfather Tuna. I've owned a couple of those. I don't own any right now. But the grandfather Tuna, which was an automatic movement, and it started being called the tuna can because it was so big. I mean, to the view of the people of the time who were wearing it. For reference, though, a golden tuna like this, which is a 7549, 7000, because this is the JDM version, is the exact same case in every single way, except this has titanium nitride on the outside. Other than that, they're exactly the same. All the components will shift back and forth. You can swap the movements back and forth because the 6000 series is what the 754 series was based on. The only difference really between this and the earlier grandfather is that the grandfather tuna has these sort of flanges that come down here, and it gives it more of a helmeted look. They sort of come down and cover the end here, but it gives the watch a ton of visual weight. It makes it look really big. So people hold the tuna can. But when that one went bye-bye, Seiko decided it was time to move into the future, and the future, frankly, was quartz in terms of accuracy and reliability. It was quartz, and so when the grandfather tuna went away, its replacement was the 7549, 7000, same exact case. It's just an exquisite watch. They're just beautiful. Handloom dial. This is the JDM version. It's the only stock watch I still have that I truly love. And it's great. But there's just something about this. That's the 600 meter, this is the 300. It's a unique shape. It's got a lovely balance to the elements, the combination of the finishes, the brushed shroud with the high polished highlights. It just looks really good. I love the angle out of it, the sort of the bottle cap stack of it. The proportions are I just love the proportions. Little things again, like the high polish lugs against the frosted thing. Again, one of my favorite finishes from Seiko. Bidirectional bezel, but with the shroud. But even with the shroud, this is not an imposing watch. It helps visually that it's not, the shroud tapers like this because it takes a lot of that apparent size away. The dial is, for me, basically the best of all of the 7548 derived dials. We can see one, right? Hang on just one second. So there's a 7548 7000 dial. And that is the dial that brought us basically everything that came with that, like the SKX dials were based right off of this. And it's a beautiful design. This sort of having three kind of figures though, you have circles and then these elongated ovally things and then this triangle. That 9 mark always dissatisfied me. I don't know why. But this one, it's just circles within circles. I just love the way it looks. Especially combined with the subtly different handset, a little bit bigger. It's a support division right in the middle there. And you can see this one has a real subtle amount of the 6159 7710 loom setup. Because this is all original parts, and I've definitely tried to keep it to the same angle, and I did see a little bit of that in there, and so that's when I built this. That's what I had available. That's what came in, and that's what I did. I just think their scale is excellent. I think they look very toolish. I think they're a great manly watch. They're not too big at all. The hands are proportional to the markers. The dial and everything has that little bit of extra tightness that Seiko does with their divers, where everything's just a little more concentrated in, which, by the way, is one of the things they messed up with this, because the chapter rings marks are so close to the dial color, it just looks like you have this little dial floating in black space. I don't dig it. I love that dial. And the fact there's no colored print of any kind. Very clean, especially the two-line, all balanced. I just think they're lovely. And they, to me, combine the best of all possible worlds. I mean, we can just look at some of the other ones here. Over there. There's 7710 loom. And that's not assembled. That's the real deal. That's July 77. And again, yeah, I have to believe it's not just a coincidence that the that for the run of the 6159s, the big grandfather Tunas in, 75, 76, 77, when it overlapped with this, with the starting the production of these things, I bet you they were running the same line, the dials at least. But anyway, there it is, the Hong Kong Sua. So you had, I don't have the slim case. Seiko's first 150 meter diver, a 62 MAS. Elegant little watch. 6105, 8110. One of the best. That's a duplicate. And you got your Tuna there. Just like that. And there you go. I don't know, for me, the combination of the size, the apparent, size of the insert and the rotating ring, the minimization of the shroud, just the sheer toolishness of it, I really like. I really do. I mean, I love all these watches, but it would be a toss-up between these two. This one, by the way, as some people might have noted, this, which was supposed to be a Quartz, I built this from parts as they came in. No single watch died to make this. As pieces came in over the course of many years, all of a sudden, at some point, I had enough to build this. And so, since it didn't have a movement when I built it, I made it an automatic. Gosh, I love this watch. The fabulous auto Tuna. The glorious auto Tuna. All right, that's why I like them. Okay, then.
Okay, that was the last question, but I want to address something, and I'm not as angry as I was yesterday.
Oh, we had a chance to think about our video. Or your video.
Yeah, I was really angry.
This is public service announcement. No, this is Sabrina's thing.
Okay, so yesterday, I didn't sleep well, and then I called my grandmother because she lives in Florida, and I wanted to make sure she was okay, and she was. But then I got it confirmed that what my mother really thinks of her least favorite accident, which would be me. And so I was really angry. And I came downstairs to tell him, but I went and checked my email. And I got if you're watching this person, I'm not going to say who you are. If you're watching this, you picked the absolute worst time to send that email. I couldn't even read the whole thing, okay? If you accuse me of stealing money off of shipping, then you're an idiot. And I'm so I am still angry. So then afterwards, I was like, okay, let's look up how much shipping is to Canada. And I looked it up on the USPS calculator. And first class international, $22, okay? I charged $28 for overseas because of packaging and stuff. So, and accusing me of stealing really pisses me off because I don't steal. That's not something I do. So, I'm tired of people bitching about shipping, and I'm really sick and tired of this other thing he was complaining about, that his package was stuck in Toronto, and that's my problem and my fault. Well, I'm not Canadian, so I can call the Canadian post office and waste a ton of money, and they'll be like, why is this freaking crazy American lady yelling at me about a package? It's not my post office. If someone in the country, their package gets lost or whatever, I'll call the USPS because they're my post office. I don't have any control over what happens in your country. Last thing, stop asking me to change how much your thing cost. Stop it. I don't care that your country charges you taxes. I don't care. Just because I'm female doesn't mean you can make me feel guilty about where you live and how much money you have to pay. I don't care. So leave me alone. Bad timing. I was really mad, and I guess I still am.
Okay, is that the end of that story?
That's the end of that story.
Oh my gosh, it's raining out. Oh no. Oh
Okay.
no.
There,
It's a rainy time.
that was it.
It's a rainy kitty. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, there you are. That was terrible of me, I apologize.
Well, we should move on and do segments, and then I'm gonna eat and watch Psycho with Sadie.
Oh, you should tell me what you learned today.
What I learned? I don't remember.
Alfred Hitchcock.
What about
all
him?
the money he got a percentage or some crazy thing, or he
Oh,
financed
no,
himself?
I was saying that it was a low budget, 800,000, and then it made $50 million at the box office.
Well, say what you will about, Mr. Hitchcock, and I'm sure many people will, but he did make a movie.
Yes, he did.
Okay, folks, we'll see you. Bye-bye.